Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Sandra.
Hi,
We're back.
ladies.
Here we are, mom-proof. I'm feeling kind of mom-proof.
Yeah?
I feel kind of like I have a little shield up of not letting mom stuff get to me because there's a lot going on. I think we have to do that sometimes. But it's the art of being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Comfortable with being uncomfortable. By the end of all of our sessions, it's going to roll off.
Is there an acronym for it?
Oh.
No, too many words.
Oh, yeah. I think we tried that. We tried that. We know that we're staying bothered, though.
We are.
Look at y'all splitting the merch.
Love it. And it's so soft.
It is. Oh, yeah.
so
Let me feel that one.
soft.
Yeah. Oh, that is. Okay. This was the original. This is OG though, right here. I know.
I know. That's
The
some
OG.
good stuff. So we're staying bothered.
We are. I was going to say the topic, I think, it invigorates me because I feel so passionate about many things. And you mentioned the homelessness thing. And part of me from last episode, we talked a little bit about homelessness, just a boom, a blip. And it really is part of my soul, I think, that somehow I'm going to end up working in that area.
Oh, interesting. We're going to write that down and see how that comes to fruition.
Well, because mental health is such a big part of that.
Right.
When you look at the homeless population, mental health is really hand in hand with the homeless.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm kind of fired up and I'm feeling, wow.
Well, it's good. You've got your hands, in the bucket. You know what's going on.
I'm trying. We have some stuff coming down the pipeline. I don't know if I want to pop right into that right now or see kind of where Sandra's.
No, I want to hear. I want to hear the updates.
Well, this is typical. This is it. You're staying bothered about something that you're really passionate about. You're not bitching and bothered. You're actually doing something to make positive change and supporting bills and different things that are out there.
Big time.
And mental wellness and how important that is.
It's
what
really,
is happening.
I appreciate that. In 2018, when I was just beginning to work independently from the school districts after 28 years of wonderful service to the school district across Texas, school districts, we had 2 young men take their own lives in our community. And I mentioned this in a few episodes previously, but that really was my aha moment. And I remember Jamie being oh so patient when I was trying to come up with what do I do and how, what's the next steps. And so I had titled an organization. It was a nonprofit, Tune Into Life. And we felt very strongly at that point of having kids weigh in. We want a teenage voice because how can you talk about mental health without the teenagers?
Right.
So that was the key thing that's differentiated any other work I've done. And we had some momentum going, man. We were having focus groups. We ended up with a core group of teens, a very diverse group of young people that were willing to put themselves out there with this conversation. And COVID hit.
Oh.
And so we definitely lost momentum. The teens grew up. Several of them were seniors when things were unwinding from COVID. And so from that moment, I realized teen voice is always going to matter. It'd be so cool to have teens in here. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But currently, I've been working very hand in hand with something called Engage and Heal. It's a foundation that's been founded in Lakeway. And we are super pumped right now. There have been some bills passed recently, and I am not good at numbers, so I can't say bill number, Senate bill, blah, blah. And I will. I will come ready next time. I apologize to our listeners. This bill will allow all students, I believe in grades 5 through 12, to get education on the harmful effects of fentanyl. And we know right now, and you're going, Kathleen, you just said mental health. Hang tight. This fentanyl thing is so overwhelming and so scary. I just saw something on Instagram that Robert De Niro's grandson just passed away from an accidental overdose of fentanyl.
Oh.
Because of a pill he bought. They think they're going to take X.
Okay, so wait. These pills, these kids are buying
They do not
online
or from even maybe friends.
Okay, it's a prescription. It's something that should be prescription. Is it Adderall? Is it Vyvanse?
No, right now we're seeing it's usually narcotics that are not prescribed. So it's not someone's Adderall that now all of a sudden is laced with fentanyl. It's like, hey, do you have any Xanax? Oh, I guess that is a prescription. But
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe they seek out some Xanax, some Xannies as they would call them. And they get their Xanax, and it is laced with fentanyl. And we know picture a rice, what is that thing?
Grain.
Grain, thank you. That is enough to kill a human being if that's fentanyl. So all that to say, and I'm sorry for being long-winded.
No,
we're
it's
excited
fine.
because there's a part of that bill where we think Engage and Heal might be able to camp onto it with a new piece called Eric's Law, which is where EH for Engage and Heal comes from, a young man in our community that did die by suicide, whom we adored and knew personally. And we think we're going to be pushing to get this education for mental health in general, mental health literacy. Do you know the difference between I'm kind of embarrassed about my body because I'm just insecure to a full-blown eating disorder? Are you aware of the difference between being sad, because we all need it, right? Everyone needs to be sad because it's the opposite of happy. You need the balance.
Right.
Whereas it goes into a full-blown depression. So these are the things we want to be able to teach people so that it becomes a conversation and not like, did we just talk about depression?
Oh, yeah. They're already depressed.
Oh my God, they're depressed. Look at her. Look at her. She must have an eating disorder. She's too skinny. Or the opposite, does she forget to purge? It's just mean stuff that we say,
Yeah.
Then we're excited. We're going in with the school district next week to talk about partnering with a little bit of education we might provide. But the big picture is the staying bothered. Now that's the bigger target is how do we get our bill passed? And probably we're learning from working with advocates that do this kind of work for passing bills. You may not get your own standalone, but you take something like that fentanyl education bill and you are able to kind of couple onto that and maybe have a layer of it that has some mental health in there. So,
and look, that's headed in the right direction, right? I think
is.
the more focus we put on mental wellness and mental well-being.
Do you think we're doing that with our kids, though? Like here they are, they're getting ready. They're having their summer of love, summer of freedom fest.
Yeah,
What is happening?
Yeah.
And are they even worried about, no, I don't want them worried. Are they even reflecting on how am I feeling about going to college? How am I feeling about leaving my friends, my boyfriend, my parents?
I don't think they've slowed down
don't
enough
think they
to let
have.
that happen. I think it's in there. Perhaps maybe that is why they're going so fast and
I
furious.
think so.
So they're avoiding some of those feelings.
Because when you slow down, what happens?
That's right. Then you have to feel.
Feel,
think
yeah.
and
See,
feel
yes.
and sit.
You can't mask everything. You can't party all the time. You got to actually be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yep, and tune
So
in.
it's
Stay
going to
there.
hurt. And then there are those conversations we still got to keep having. Think about yourself. Take care of your body. Make sure that you're.
You've said this before. Are they exercising,
Yeah.
eating right?
Mhm.
But even being aware of like what you're talking about right now, because I think they hear it, but do they really know what it is?
Like the differences between like sadness versus depression.
Right. Or
Yeah.
even like the
Anxious
fentanyl
versus-
thing. And,
Right.
like, do they really realize that,
So this is interesting. What
tried.
as a parent that knows nothing about fentanyl,
Yeah.
and you've got a 9th grade kid, what should you be concerned about?
Yes.
Is he or she asking their friends for some other drug, or
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think what's catching everyone off guard is how much experimentation is going on with pills.
okay?
So there's that.
interesting.
So then you want to kind of stop there and then talk to your kids about. I think you start off with fentanyl. Like, hey, have you heard of fentanyl? Because I think you just go there. Sure, I think whatever. People have died. Okay, how come people are taking fentanyl? In most cases, people did not know they were taking fentanyl.
Exactly.
Okay, but the other underlying piece there is, why am I taking anything? So then we're going backwards on it. What would they be? And you could talk about them. Always feel free to talk about that other kid.
Yeah.
Okay. What would they have potentially been avoiding? What are they numbing from? And then you're getting into like, okay, it's avoidance or whatever Jamie just said. And, I'm scared about this, or I don't know if anyone likes me, or, whatever we need to find out hopefully comes through there.
Yeah.
Because what we're trying to do is figure out what they would try to numb from.
And, and I was asking, I was just like thinking back. I remember when my daughter was a freshman and like she always had a lot of anxiety. And she came home one day and she's like, I needed to go to the doctor and I need to get some medicine. I remember she said this to fix this.
I don't want to feel this way.
Yeah, and she was like, and I was like, well, I was like trying to unpack it, and I was like, well, what do you feel, or when do you feel anxious, and she was like, get kind of upset, and she's like, no, there's a pill that you can take, and there's kids taking these pills, and like she was so insistent for a long time, and she was like, my friend, their mom put them on these medicine, and they say, and so for a little while I was kind of concerned, like, what if she goes and asks for one of them?
That
Or what
is
if,
scary. Yeah.
And I was just like, well, it's better to figure out where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Instead
and if
of
you need
medicating
medication,
for it.
then we'll get you the medication.
Oh,
yeah.
and let's
Yeah.
just add
Good
on to
one.
that.
Yeah. Let's what
Parents, lock your medicine chest.
lock
Parents,
your
put your stuff up.
lock your
I
alcohol
love the
cabinets.
stories. That's one cool thing about me having adult kids. I hear all the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom, I got into your Ambien. I took a couple of those. Or I took this. I'm like, dang, remember after that surgery you had and you had that codeine or whatever? I
Yes,
tried that.
hydrocodone.
It's like, what the heck, man? I
Yeah.
had it all put up. No,
You did
lock your stuff.
Okay, I like it. But
The once a quarter, right? Aren't you supposed to do that? Go through everything out.
Oh, I hadn't even. That's makes
There's
so
a
much
little
sense 'cause
tip
you have
for
all this-
today's session.
It is.
Yes.
But when do you
Parents.
know if the kid needs it, right? And is it okay? Of course it's okay if you've explored what's the origin of their distress.
Right.
And you've worked maybe with a counselor or, you've explored it with a doctor. I always believe in that too. Take your kid, get a full physical, make sure there's not hormonal and so forth. And then if medicine is a part of the treatment plan, then that's what it is.
Yeah, it was like I did hear that one time, and they were like, there's no reason to suffer. Sometimes you need something just to get you by until you start to feel better. There's no sense in being miserable,
It is interesting how some kids just say, I'm not taking any of that. I'm not taking
Right.
that. Because they think it's a
opposite.
stigma
Yeah.
yes, in truth, that could very well be the thing that helps them the most.
Yeah.
And that's parenting and just talking to the kids, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just to keep on, even though their frontal lobes are not
Dude.
formed. They're not.
I mean, what you have like 20 somethings in your house. You
Yeah.
still see the
Yeah.
formation inadequacy.
Yeah, I'm going to say boys, 22,
Boys,
23,
dude.
still not there.
Boys. Well,
No, little things like, hey, introduce your friends. Oh, were you brought up in a barn?
me? Moo.
They do get better. I love adult children, by the way.
I know.
Big plug for
Your
that.
oldest one's what? How old is he?
Oh, 61.
Oh,
35. How do I have
61.
a 35-year-old?
yeah, that's so
No, very well.
true. Oh, excuse me. That's funny.
No, staying bothered, though.
Yeah, I mean,
It is really important to stay bothered, talk about these difficult things, but make positive change along the way. 988. That's the number,
988,
988.
that just recently
suicide
passed too, which
prevention.
that took a while to pass
Yeah.
3 digits. But that's a national thing too, which is very cool. I mean, to imagine a law that is national, like I'm wondering about this fentanyl bill. I'll come back with more info because I think it's a very relevant topic for us to keep in the forefront of just our kids' safety and staying bothered about the generation that no longer can experiment. I'm not going to admit anything, but I am going to say we grew up in a time when you probably weren't as worried about dying from
Yes.
taking a pill
That's
or
right.
smoking something. And,
That's
and
right.
so, that's got to be a little bit extra stress on these young
Yeah, that's what I'm
people.
saying. And they're going off to their next chapter of their life. And, we're not going to, we're not going to be there. So I think the more information they have and the more they're aware
Yeah.
of what to look for, then the better off they're going to be and we're going to be because, that the thing is that they go and they're partying and like we've
Yeah.
all been there.
Mindset.
And maybe you drank too much and then you make a bad decision and then
Yes.
one thing leads to another. And it's like, how do you
Consent.
avoid
How
that?
about consent?
Well,
Sorry,
the
yeah, boom.
inhibitions, right? You lose
Ugh.
that. You just think that everything's going to be okay. It's again that conversation.
Yes.
No means no.
Yes.
What do you do if you're in that situation? I just read something that was about if someone's abusing you at the table and waitress asks you something, I'm going to come back. I was hoping maybe that would trigger
Okay.
what. I
Okay.
feel like
It
you
didn't-
have heard it. It's
okay.
like the missing kids thing. They make that
Ooh.
that sign
Oh, like for
behind
the,
there, the fist
Oh,
behind.
I need to know this.
Yeah, okay,
because
we're going to
that's
come back with that.
the
'cause
human
those are good
trafficking
nuggets.
thing. Talk about staying bothered, and it seems like there's a lot of information on that right now. There's a new movie out. I really like to. I think it's called Freedom Fighters, and Mel Gibson's directing it. And
I saw that. Yeah,
it's not getting a lot of press because it's pretty edgy on how is all this trafficking occurring. But to take it back to our own children and staying bothered, if we don't have conversations to make mental health just a more normal topic, and I know it's still taboo. It is even in my own house as a therapist. The minute I talk about feelings or want to get into business of somebody, whether it's sexual business or dating business, whatever it is, boom, the shield goes up, man. And so there's got to be a way to allow kids to know this is like, is there enough gas in your car? We're going to talk about, is there enough tools in your toolkit around taking care of yourself away from home? That 2-week mark, I've mentioned this before. So say they're feeling sad and they're missing home or they're missing a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But it goes longer than 2 weeks, uninterrupted, and it's starting to feel like sleep is affected and eating's affected, and I can't get myself to go anywhere, and I'm hermiting myself. Like, we want them to know some of these differentiators besides sad. We've already said to our kid, I remember my freshman year. Well, because I drank too much, but it was because I felt so lonely, but it didn't inhibit me. Like, I felt lonely and I was around a bunch of people. So I can't necessarily nail that except to tell you that it's how I felt. But I kept going through the motions, right? And so that's the thing. If it had paralyzed me, then that would have been a different
That really is
thing.
good advice
Very lonely.
for parents out there. Just if it's a couple weeks at a time,
Yeah, 2 weeks is your marker.
keep moving.
Uninterrupted.
Just keep moving. I
Keep
think that's
moving.
a good.
And then, but how do you know, like, unless you're checking in on them?
Yeah, you do. You need to check in on them. And oh my God, sidebar. Reagan actually said, she said this is Reagan speaking, I'm going to keep Life 360 on my phone. And I said, what? And she was, I think I would feel better if I had it on there. I said, I don't know if I'm going to keep checking it. And she said, well, I mean, I'm going to have it on there. So just back to that, just marker as far as like that marker. Are we going to
360.
360 people?
I did tell Avery the other day I was keeping hers on. She goes, yeah, well, I'm keeping mine on you.
Okay.
That's good, though.
It's good.
That's
But I
topic
think
of
we
discussion.
say to our kids, hey, plan on me checking in with you on your level of loneliness, your level of sadness. And you can 1 through 10 that stuff. I love doing that with clients. 1 to 10.
Yeah.
How was your week? Or give me a high and a low.
Right.
The rose and the thorn, right?
Yeah.
Well, did you hear I lost at Jenga? I mean, I'm still kind of. I don't like losing.
Why did you let him win?
I just don't.
You didn't. She winked, Eric. You got to make those big babies feel like they're.
I know.
I know. It's okay. Sweet. So plan a check-in with these kids.
I think that's
yeah.
important. That's
Yeah,
really
that is
good.
important.
And as far as like, I think it's nice to know their roommates. I think once we know who those roommates are, then it's nice to have their contact information too.
Yeah,
Just
that's
to check
a
in.
slight important
It is.
feature.
It
of
is.
knowing who your kid's hanging out with. Ask for extra phone numbers
Yeah.
for just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's high school or anything.
Thank you.
I know. There
Whether
we
they're
go.
10.
No, I think that's I didn't even think of that. Thank you for bringing that up because it's like,
Bothered about that. No.
like they're all going to be with roommates.
Yeah.
They're going to be,
Someone else has eyes on them. Someone else has ears, and maybe we can, allow someone else to have some support with us. Like these kids have to remember they're not doing this on their own. Although
right.
it feels like
Yeah.
you're on your own.
Yeah.
You're not. Texas Tech sent us this really cool information about these apps and this counseling center. And I know UT does a good job, and I am sure
Yeah, they
USC
have.
does. Yeah. But it's nice to know it. And I got it. And I was like, ooh. And I'm on like a little
Use our resources.
Facebook page. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I did that with
You did with the.
yeah, Riley.
Oh, really?
They had a
'Cause
good
he was so far
parent
away.
forum. Yeah, that was very hard.
Mhm.
But he was a boy. I mean, I was lucky to hear from him. I'm still. Hey, Riley, call your mom.
And he lives there. Does he live?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love his mustache.
Oh, I think I had a question. Remember, I thought I'm going to do the question today, and I forgot it.
Oh, for ending?
Mm-hmm.
It's already time to end?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It implies when you're having fun. But we are hitting on some really important
We
things.
are.
I think
We
the
are.
mental wellness check, what's happening in our world, talking about fentanyl with the kids.
Yes.
God, it's so important.
Having
Suicide
1 to 10,
prevention.
1 to 10 check-ins.
Yeah.
Just how,
Right.
how was
Yeah.
your week? 1 to 10. And 10 would be awesome and 1 would be low. And then unpack it.
Yeah.
But the 2-week mark, remember that one too, if you're in a funk.
I know that is really important. Can you think of anything else we need to send our
Yeah.
kids are almost, we're going to be talking about going back to school soon.
Yeah.
That's going to be around the corner. What are we going to do differently?
Okay, let's talk. How about a question to end it with? Like, what was your favorite grade that you got to go your first day of school? What was your favorite first day?
Oh, cute one.
Yeah.
Kathleen. I like that.
Oh,
Your favorite first day?
I think mine was 3rd grade with Mrs. Massey
Really?
Aw.
How come?
because I didn't have to wear my glasses.
You got contacts at 3rd grade?
No, I just didn't have to wear them all the time. I remember thinking, I don't have to wear them.
When did you get glasses?
In 2nd grade.
That's early. I mean,
Yeah.
same here, but
And Avery,
Avery did
but then I
too.
just stopped wearing them.
so you
Hence
just
the contacts. now. 3rd grade.
Third
Mrs.
grade.
Massey. I think I was the most excited because I had my friends. Innocence is a beautiful thing. Just not knowing that anything could go wrong.
Where did you live in 3rd grade?
Schertz, Texas. And
Oh,
I went
you
to
were there already.
Wiederstein Elementary.
Oh, Wiederstein.
That's cute. What about you? Do you have a
Oh gosh.
first day?
I think mine was probably sophomore year of high school, just because that was the year that freshman year was not good. I was really shy, and I don't know, something happened over the summer between freshman and sophomore. And I was just real confident. I had gotten new clothes and I had just started to learn about working out. And so I just felt really good and couldn't wait to get to school, right? Like
Aw.
that had to be my,
Yeah, for 10th
Yeah.
grade year too. That
Yeah.
can be tricky, right?
yeah.
Good one. I would say that mine would be my senior year first day because I had been moved from my school as a junior. My parents took me to a different high school in Wichita, Kansas. And I had to start over as a junior. And it was terrible. And it was such a terrible year that I convinced them that I should move back to San Antonio and graduate with my graduating class that I'd been
Oh.
with, even though they weren't moving back. And I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I lived with a family and I got to go to my high school that I had started. And it just was like, I'm back. And I
That's
felt
awesome.
so happy to be in a comfort zone that wasn't so,
Yeah.
Friends are important.
Dang, man.
Yeah. Especially
are.
for senior year, because those
Girl.
are your people.
Yeah, I know. It was really amazing. And it was a great year. Yeah. So good question.
Way to go. I
Thanks.
like it.
Great question.
So this is a wrap then. We're going to keep staying bothered.
Yep.
We're going to work on making positive change in the world. And let's talk to our kids about doing that.
Yeah.
Just do a little something. Make it positive for someone else. Really, those little tidbits are important, right?
It's awesome. Staying at it.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Thank you, ladies.
Adios.
Thank you.